How's it going, everyone? AFC Finners on a big day as we go to former Premier League champions Leicester City. But first, we decided today is the day that we're all giving each other our Christmas gifts. So this is Tom Aldo's gift to me. It's got Luciano's seal of approval. Let's see what's inside. His face. Ooh. Oh my. Oh, you beauty. Thank you. That's brilliant, because he got me a World Cup glass last year, so this is the perfect sequel. Mwah. Beautiful. I'm English. We've won the World Cup. Someone else touched it. Oh, it's got all the world champions on the bottom. Thank you, Tom Aldo, for bringing me the World Cup. Now, time to show what I've got, Tom Aldo and Luke. So, Tom, shut your eyes. Oh.
I'm not very subtle with opening presents.
You're not very subtle with anything.
What that? Oh yes. Oh yes.
Lovely jubbly.
Oh yeah.
Show to the camera.
Oh god, just even back as well.
From Red Molotov, we have an Only Fools and Horses football shirt. It's quite fitting because I've got my Godfather one on. That's an underlay. So,
yeah,
yeah,
love it. Yeah.
I was thinking I need to stop getting you football shirts, but then you see something like that. Right, and now time for Luciano.
I'll try and angle myself to be in frame here. Hello.
Welcome back.
What have we?
You're looking after my shirt for me.
Ooh, I like it.
Drum roll, please.
Is it a puppy?
Look at that.
This is an actual thing. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
But you support Leeds and like gin. I thought you of all people would know. Beautiful stuff.
Look at that.
Enjoy.
Look at that. That is beautiful.
He's feeling supersonic. And finally, last but not least, Luke's present for me. Big Tom, show him what he got you.
Edwin van der Sar, my favourite ever player.
Love that man.
We'll tell you a little anecdote one day about Edwin van der Sar.
Oh, please do not bend. There's certain Futurama character who won't approve.
Oh. Bovril.
Okay, I'm going to quote Tom. Where the fuck did you find this?
Let's go.
Oh my god, is this genuinely original?
It is.
Oh my god.
Show the camera.
The programme from England against Hungary, 1953. Tom, I do apologise for giving a bigger reaction to this.
Is it alright?
Holy shit! Oh, thank.
I'm gonna start driving.
Oh my god, thank you, Tom, Luke. You know me all too well. You're very generous, and it's much appreciated. I've got a World Cup and an original programme for the greatest games of all time. I'm a very lucky boy. Thank you both. Merry Christmas. So we've arrived in Leicester. Where have we gone to?
Leicester.
Spoons. It had to be. Now we've got a nice cappuccino. It's in King Richard. Once I've had breakfast, life is good. City Centre, Christmas time. Life is good. Alright? Yes. Statue in City Centre of rugby. Don't ask me what happened to the football guy. And there's some cricket guy. Right then, here we are. The King Power. Oh yes. How are you feeling, boys? Will you stop doing the speed impression?
He's barking, man.
Oh! And there he is. Couldn't be shy. Perfect example of what a chairman should be. Into the club shop we go. Former Leicester City centre-back Sol Bamba is doing some signings in the store. Let's have a depot meeting. Met Sol Bamba and got a pin badge. £3. Pretty good deal. Been there to down the road. Oh! That was only one. part of the stadium, Vichai Memorial Gardens. An elegant, fitting tribute to a great man.
I'm Keith Rudkin.
Keith, nice to meet you, Keith. So how long have you been going to watch Leicester?
6 years.
Of all the players you've seen in your time at Leicester, you must have had seen some incredible ones. Who is your favourite ever, Leicester?
Keith Weller.
Brilliant. And what? Obviously, I think there might be a couple of obvious answers, but what is your favourite memory in over 6 years of supporting Leicester?
Winning the Premiership.
Oh, I was wondering whether it'd be that or the FA Cup. It's a tough choice, but they're both incredible for you.
It'll have to be a Wembley game, one of the cup finals from years back. The Worthington Cup final. Go on, let's have that.
Which one?
Oh,
Two of them.
I know. I'm trying to think which one was the last minute scoring Claridge off the shin.
Oh, the
Go
playoffs.
on. Yeah.
Brilliant. Finally, what is your prediction for today?
A draw.
A draw. Okay, well, fingers crossed. Maybe it's a win, but really, thank you for your time. I'm a ground hopper. It's my first time at the King Power. What can I expect to find at this stadium?
It's a nice stadium, it's not.
Lovely. And
Lucky crowd.
yeah, no, I had to go on that the football game there. It was brilliant.
Great atmosphere, great tunes before the match even starts. That's brilliant. I don't know who does it, but they are absolutely brilliant because the tunes are great. Just a great set of fans and great football.
Fantastic. Well, I'm sure it'll be proven right. And obviously, it seemed like a golden era for Leicester had come to an end with the relegation, but now under Enzo Maresca, you've bounced back really well. Promotion seems in sight. How are you feeling about the future with Leicester?
It's going to be bright. It's going to be bright. We'll be back.
Fantastic. That's the spirit.
Mario Maresca is a good manager. He did it with Manchester City. We need to win today, stay top of the league.
Yeah, well, it's certainly been an incredible start for you. What is your prediction for today's game?
3-0.
3-0. Good, nice optimism. Fingers crossed. Let's hope you're proven right.
3-0.
3-0. The guy I just interviewed said that too. Let's hope you're proven right.
Brilliant.
So we're about to go inside the stadium, but before we do, let's find out a bit about today's hosts, Leicester City. Leicester City were founded in 1884 as Leicester Fosse by graduates of Wiggiston Public School. They joined the FA in 1890 and were moved to Filbert Street the next year. They were promoted to top flight for the first time in 1908, but were relegated after a solitary season. The First World War caused the club to go out of business due to financial issues and would reform as Leicester City Football Club in 1919. They would win Division 2 in 1925 and finished second place in the top flight 4 years later. They were relegated in 1935 and remained in the second tier for a lengthy period. In 1949, against the odds, they reached their first FA Cup final, but the Foxes were no matches for the Wolves of Stan Cullis, who emerged as 3-1 victors. Only 1 week later, Leicester survived relegation on the last day. They'd win the second division in 1954, and although they were relegated in 1955, they returned in 1957, which was the start of a 12-year spell in the top flight. In 1959, they signed a young goalkeeper by the name of Gordon Banks. The 1960s were an interesting decade for the Foxes. Matt Gillies led the club to the 1961 FA Cup final, but lost to the legendary double-winning Tottenham side. They were back at Wembley again in 1963 for another FA Cup final, but Matt Busby's Manchester United won by 3-1 to condemn Leicester to another silver medal. This campaign saw them finish fourth, and the next season they finally had silverware. Leicester defeated Stoke over 2 legs by 4-3 to win the League Cup, at last breaking their streak of bad luck in cup finals. They reached the final again the next season, but lost to Chelsea. Matt Gillies left in 1968 and was replaced by Frank O'Farrell, who led them to their third FA Cup final of the decade in 1969. They were thwarted by the blue half of Manchester this time, with Man City winning 1-0. Leicester had now reached 4 FA Cup finals without winning the competition, a record that would stand for over 40 years. To make things worse, they were relegated the same year. They achieved promotion 2 years later by winning the second division, also winning the Charity Shield after Arsenal pulled out due to European commitments. They remained in the top flight until 1978, but won the second division again in 1980. The 1980s also saw a young local striker named Gary Lineker emerge into the team, but they would also suffer 2 relegations in the top flight that decade. The 1990s started poorly for the club, with relegation to the 3rd tier a real possibility. However, in 1992, they reached the 2nd Division playoff final, losing to Blackburn. They suffered the same fate the next year, this time losing to Swindon 4-3 in a dramatic final, having led by 3-0. However, in 1994, they were 3rd time lucky, with 2 goals from Steve Walsh sealing victory over Derby and promotion to the Premier League. Their first season back saw immediate relegation, but success was just around the corner. Martin O'Neill would take over and took the club back to the Premier League, with a last-minute Steve Claridge goal sealing victory over Crystal Palace in the playoff final. O'Neill guided them to 9th place and the first major trophy for 33 years, victory over Middlesbrough in the League Cup final after a replay. They reached the final again in 1999, losing to Tottenham, but left Wembley the next year with the trophy again, defeating Tranmere 2-1. O'Neill left to take over Celtic in 2000, having guided them to 4 successive top-half finishes, 2 League Cups and 2 UEFA Cup campaigns. They were relegated 2 years later, and also moved from Filbert Street to a 32,000 capacity Walker Stadium that same year. However, they would go into administration, but miraculously secure promotion back to Premier League. However, they suffered immediate relegation and would not be back in the top flight for a long time. The club suffered a tumultuous period under the ownership of Milan Mandaric, and they were relegated from the Championship in 2008, playing outside the top 2 tiers of English football for the first ever time. Fortunately, their spell away was not long, with Nigel Pearson guiding them to a League One title, and also guided them to participation in the Championship playoffs. Pearson would leave for Hull City, and in 2010 they were taken over by Thai retail company King Power, the club being run by Kun Vichai and his son Ayawat. Nobody could have imagined the wonders they would do for the club. Nigel Pearson returned to the club for the 11-12 campaign and guided them to the playoffs the next season. They crashed out in dramatic fashion, as Anthony Knockaert had a chance to win the semi-final for the Foxes from the spot, but missed, and Watford ran up the other end and scored through Troy Deeney in one of the most dramatic moments in football history. It would, however, be a blessing in disguise. In 2014, they won the Championship title, sealing a return to the top flight after 10 years away. The first season back started positively, including a dramatic comeback to defeat Manchester United 5-3. However, a poor run of form saw them rooted to the table with 19 points and only 9 games to go. But a dramatic turnaround that saw them win 7 of their last 9 games saw them climb the table to 14th and complete a miraculous escape. In the summer, Nigel Pearson was sacked due to issues the club had about his behaviour and a leaked explicit tape involving his son James, who at the time was on the club's books. He was replaced by Claudio Ranieri. The appointment was a surprise, with him having recently overseen the Greek national team as they lost to Faroe Islands. Gary Lineker publicly condemned the appointment, but he, and many others, would soon be eating their words. Leicester started the season in fine form, playing quick, counter-attacking football, with Jamie Vardy at one point netting 13 goals in 11 games. An unlikely title charge was developing, but few believed they could pull it off. However, the wins kept coming and coming, and the 2-0 win away to Sunderland saw Champions League qualification secured, a match that reduced Ranieri to tears. And on the 2nd of May 2016, the dream became reality. Tottenham drew 2-2 against Chelsea, meaning Leicester's lead at the top could no longer be eclipsed. Wild scenes of celebration took place across the country, with a team who had odds of 5,000 to 1 to win the league, completing perhaps the greatest miracle in football history. Sadly, the next campaign failed to live up to it. They struggled in the league and would make the heartbreaking decision to sack Ranieri, with relegation a looming possibility. There was European redemption though, as they reached the quarter-finals of the Champions League. The club had promising league finishes under the management of Claude Puel, but in 2018 they faced tragedy. On the 27th October 2018, following a draw with West Ham, a helicopter carrying Kun Vichai and 4 others malfunctioned and crashed outside the stadium, killing everyone on board. The world of football mourned the chairman who had taken the club from rags to riches, and a memorial garden was set up in honour of him the next year to remember what he did for Leicester City. Later, a statue was unveiled of him too. Claude Puel would be replaced by Brendan Rodgers, and in his first full season, he guided the club to 5th. narrowly missing out on the Champions League. In the 2021 season, they achieved something that perhaps meant even more to them than the Premier League victory. They reached their 5th FA Cup final, where they faced Chelsea. It was a tight game, but an incredible strike from Yuri Tielemans gave Leicester a 1-0 win. And at long last, they had won the FA Cup, finally breaking their biggest curse. The next season, they reached the semi-finals of the Conference League, but lost to Roma. The club struggled to recruit due to financial difficulties, and a relegation battle saw them part company with Brendan Rodgers. And their 9-year period in the Premier League would come to an end in 2023. Enzo Maresca, former assistant to Pep Guardiola, was appointed manager that summer, and their best ever start to a league season has seen them right at the top of the Championship. And it certainly seems as though their spell away from the Premier League will not be a long one. Overall, they've won 1 third division title, 7 second division titles, 1 top flight title, 3 League Cups, and 1 FA Cup. And a bit of trivia, legendary TV character Basil Brush is a fan of Leicester City, having an affinity for his fellow Foxes. So those are our hosts, Leicester City. Let's have a look inside their home, the King Power Stadium. Look at that. Home, former Premier League champions, and my best ever career mode. We happy? Oh yeah, we happy. Got a nice sweet potato, coconut pie, veggie option. Had to get back to the focus here, didn't I? What you got, Luke?
Got a steak and ale pie.
And this pint of Copperberg. Excellent choice. It's not a bad pie, to be fair. It's spicy, which I'm not always the best with, but does a job. It's decent. Minutes in, and it's a penalty to Leicester. I think it was Patson Daka was tripped inside the box. Referee's put straight to the spot. Chance to break the deadlock. Now the DD from the spot to make it 1-0.
Leicester City goal scorer, number 10,
Aberdeen hits a perfect penalty from the spot to give Leicester a lead, 1-0. And listen to this noise. Vital goal in the title race. So our time in the King Power, I think the scoreline is quite fair as it is. Leicester were quite dominant. Plymouth have grown back into the game, but I think it's one of those, if Leicester do get a second, it's game over. But Plymouth have had their chances and grown into it, so not quite out of the woods yet. We'll have to see. It'll be an interesting second half. I think whoever gets the next goal will win the game. Half time, 1-0 to Leicester.
Leicester City goal scorer, number 20, Hanson Daka.
Shortly into the second half, the long ball was played. Fatawa has flicked it on, and Hanson Daka's tucked it neatly into the corner. I said whoever scores next wins. I think I'll be proven right for once. Probably 3 points until they're delivered to the Leicester.
The Leicester City goal scorer, number 10, Steffi Lamborghini.
A couple minutes later, Navadini's got his second. He was toying with the Plymouth defence. He's carved them to pieces. And then, after beating 1, 2, 3, he's tucked in the corner. 3 goals and 3 points. I think the 3-0 prediction is on. Victory will be on Plymouth now.
The Leicester City goal scorer, number 25, Wilfred
Have Leicester reached 4? Yes, indeedy. Wilfred Ndidi has tucked it in off the post. And less than 10 minutes into the second half, Leicester scored 3 times. It's 4-0. It could be well more. There's still well over half an hour to go. Goodness knows what it could be. So after the rush of goals at the start of the second half, the game does finish 4-0. Well done for Leicester, and they turned on the gas when they needed to. Superb performance, job done, a vital 3 points in the title race. If they keep playing like that, be comfortable in the Premier League in no time. Full time, Leicester 4, Plymouth 0. So that was the King Power Stadium, home of Leicester City. That was, you know, up there with the grounds the Whites did the most in this country. So thank you, Tom Aldo, for sorting this out. Very happy day. Credit where it's due to Plymouth fans. They were absolutely superb. Cheered their team on throughout, and as you saw, didn't stop singing till the end despite the result. So we'll probably have to go there at some point soon, make the long journey to Devon. But yeah, Leicester, really nice club. Good to see them get the result, and hopefully they'll be on their way back to the Premier League. But yeah, massive grounds as we near the end of the year. That's probably the last EFL game we'll be going to in 2023. Excellent one to choose. So, Tomaldo, Luciano and I are off to find somewhere to eat. Thank you both for your lovely Christmas presents. See you next week for Yeovil. But time for us to rate the experience. So, we will start off with the welcome, and Leicester City are a club who have a reputation for being a nice family-friendly club, and that day has certainly helped prove that. You know, they really go out of their way to make it a really nice day. The fact that they had a former player in Sol Bamba in the club shop was a really good idea. It helps add to the experience, shows that they really care about the supporters, giving them the opportunity to meet a player that they loved. All the interactive games outside, like the penalty kicks, and they were without a doubt the friendliest stewards I've ever seen at a game. The stewards, when we went in, asked if it was a long journey because they thought we were Plymouth fans, but you know, they were so willing to engage. Every steward we spoke to was really polite, didn't just sit there. They spoke to us, which is a little thing, but it makes you feel really on board and welcome. So it's clear why they have that reputation for being a very welcoming club. One criticism that does make it difficult for an outsider is they have this whole thing where to buy a home ticket you need to have a membership just to have the opportunity, which is quite disappointing because we saw empty seats there. We've seen empty seats on the TV, so people are paying for seats but not able to get to games sometimes. And when there's groundhoppers such as ourselves that want tickets, we were very lucky that Plymouth hadn't sold out their allocation, so I think that should be looked at a bit. But apart from that, absolutely lovely welcome and a really nice club overall. I really enjoyed it there and enjoyed chatting to everyone I spoke to. So Leicester, you certainly lived up to expectations of your welcome. I'll give you a 9 out of 10. Food and drink, yeah, it was fine, the food and drink. It's not too much to say about it. It was like, they did have multiple vegetarian options, which obviously will get points from me. I have had better food at this kind of level, like as you've seen with Stoke. So I just say like the food was fine. You know, there were plenty of vans outside and there was a decent range of options available. It did the job it needs to. And the pie, it was fine. Again, I've had better pies at other clubs. I'll probably give the food and drink a 7 out of 10. Atmosphere, this was a strange one because there were points where I was actually a little bit disappointed by the Leicester atmosphere. There were points it did seem quite flat and it was Plymouth fans making all the noise. But when the crowd did get going, it was superb, like the noise they generated. So I give credit where it's due. I just thought, considering how well they're doing in the league and how good their recent history has been, I thought there would have been a slightly better atmosphere. Like I said, when they scored, the noise that you could hear was superb. I am willing to give Leicester the benefit of doubt and assume that because I was amongst very loud Plymouth supporters, perhaps that did drown out some of the singing, but there was also a small section of people opposite me who were like bouncing up and down throughout the game. Because it was a small section, it might not have been as easy to hear them. When the atmosphere was up and running, I really enjoyed that. I was expecting it to be really noisy for larger sections of the game, especially compared to like how much the Plymouth fans are singing, like they were singing when they were 4-0 down towards the end of the game. But that's not to say it was a bad atmosphere from Leicester, so I'll probably give it a 7.5 out of 10. Stadium, there is very, very little to criticise about that. Really good exterior as well, with like the memorial gardens, the interactive games, and it's quite a nice walk to it. You go past the river and the way it emerges is so cool. So yeah, it's really well thought out. It's quite a young stadium, it's been well maintained. Pretty much the only criticism I could give it is some of the seats in the away ends probably need doing up a bit. They seemed a bit old. It's an excellent stadium, does everything you need to. The only reason I'm not giving it a 10 is because I am comparing it to, you know, Old Trafford and Anfield. I'll probably give the stadium a 9 out of 10. And finally, value for money. Now, obviously, as you know, I'm an advocate for the whole 20s plenty idea. But the ticket did cost about 30 quid. And in all fairness, considering that you're going to a team that in recent memory have won both an FA Cup and Premier League, and they're storming the Championship, I think relative to the cost of football, I think 30 quid is quite good considering what you are getting. Like, you're seeing a team that people around the world love and have a soft spot for. I think to be able to only sell for 30 quid is quite good, even if it is still on the base of it an expensive amount for a ticket. In terms of the pin badge, perfect cost, 3 quid. It would be very easy for them to charge more for that. The food and drink was probably a little bit more expensive than it needed to be, I think, like, because it was water, crisps and a pie for £10. Again, comparing it to Stoke, I got an oat cake and sausage roll for about 6 quid, so probably could have been a couple quid cheaper, but overall it was decent and I didn't feel really out of pocket. So overall, I was satisfied with the value for money, so I'll probably give it an 8 out of 10. So, what an excellent day. Thank you so much, Tom Aldo, for being able to get a ticket to that. That really meant a lot to me, because Leicester are a club, even before the whole Premier League thing, I really had a soft spot for them. And yes, I'm not going to lie, my amazing career mode with them certainly helped, but they're just such a likeable club. I've always loved them, and seeing them win the Premier League and the FA Cup, despite me not supporting them, probably two of the moments in watching football that I've enjoyed most. And I don't say that lightly, considering I've been watching football for around 17 years now. It meant a lot to do that, and it was an absolutely lovely day. And the way Leicester are playing, I'm sure they'll be back in the Premier League this time next season. So thank you, Leicester, for a lovely day. Thank you to all the fans that made it really good. And again, fair play to you, Plymouth fans. You were superb as well. Let's hope you can have a positive end to the season, and hopefully I'll come and see you soon. So, thank you, Leicester. Congratulations on the victory. Good luck in your hunt for promotion. I've been AFC Finners. See you next time, and stick with us as we go ground to ground. AFC Finners out.